Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AskReddit. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. What feels wrong but really isn't? Asking someone for money they rightfully owe you. LOL ha. No. I have a golden rule I make very clear. If I just give it out, you don't owe me, but if you ask me for money, you're paying it back. And keeping that boundary is very important. Don't loan money to family or friends that you'll ever need repaid. If that means you can't afford it, you shouldn't be making the loan. Just say I'd love to, but I can't afford it. If you can afford it, and you really want to make the loan, make up a document with actual terms. How much is loaned, when payments are due, and how much. Make everyone sign it, including a third-party witness. Making it formal like this makes it real for people. Leaving a store empty-handed. If I don't find what I'm looking for, I feel like a thief walking out without buying something. I might be alone in this. I always feel so suspicious when I do this. I even work in a store, and I know that as a worker, you couldn't care less, but it still feels weird. Yes. I always feel guilty, especially if it's a small independent shop. I've bought things I didn't even want out of sheer guilt before. Eating or drinking the last one of something. I never feel bad about this, but my stepmom always gets pissed if I do it. She'll be an asshole to my dad for the rest of the day for something I did. In Spain, the last portion of something is called the shame. Calling out of work for actually being sick. There's that fear of, what if they don't believe I'm sick _. Fuck what they think. You know you're sick, so stay home and take care of yourself. Especially these days. If the job doesn't pay them out and the days don't accumulate, use them all. Use every single sick day, personal day, vacation day that you have. If you're in a union, go to every BS training they give so you get paid to be somewhere other than your job and get little skills which you can use to either pad your resume or ask for a raise. Going to toilet multiple times at workplace. Boss makes $1, I make a dime, that's why I poop on company time. I had to go to the toilet at least 3 times during an exam once because I was so stressed for it. The teacher was nice and understanding, but it felt so wrong to do. Sacrificing your queen to get a checkmate. Me, /sacrifices queen. Everyone else at Buckingham Palace, /shocked face. Small price to pay for salvation. A lot of people have been convinced that living with your parents after high school, or not working straight out of high school, or not paying your own way through college is a sin. It is not. It is propaganda that keeps the cycle of cheap, desperate labor going on. If your parents want to support you through college, thank them, study well, and get yourself a stable life and career. Support them in their old age. There is nothing wrong for your parents to help you pay for college. You want to know how the wealthy stay wealthy generation after generation? They support their kids set up in life. Parents' children is not a contract that expires when you turn 18. Exactly. If anything, staying is more strategic and increases the likelihood of a better life long term, since you're saving up money and not spending on crappy housing over the years. When someone dies, buying their stuff. We lost a relative this year, and have been desperate to get rid of all the stuff so we can move on. Friends and family have been so hesitant to take things that we just can't store, so we've been jumping through hoops to sell to strangers. Have you considered just doing one big estate sale and being done with it? I know you won't make nearly as much money this way as piecing it out, but it seems like that's not really an issue for you. There are agencies that handle all the logistics, and you really just have to clean everything and box it up. Telling people no. Being an adult and not liking alcohol, so you don't go to as many social events with your friends. Are you saying your friends don't invite you to social gatherings because you don't drink alcohol? It is ridiculous that it is kind of expected that if you're of age, you consume alcohol. Never touched it, never will. I can't say I've never been curious, but the curiosity is not strong enough to really care. I'll continue to be sober in my life. You save a lot of money that way. Watching my dog poo, even though you just need to pick it up after, I always feel like I'm invading his privacy. In all fairness, your dog probably watches you poo, so fair is fair. You're both just watching each other's backs in case a predator comes by. Read somewhere ages ago that dogs actually prefer to have another pack member around keeping an eye out when they're taking a dump, a behavior they've kept from the days they were still wolves, and had to worry about larger predators taking advantage of a compromising situation. So you're all good here. Asking for a drink or something in someone else's house, if they've taken too long to offer. I was taught to never ask in case they didn't have, and my request makes them feel bad. So now I don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary, and I will only ever ask for water to be safe. The especially weird thing about this is that the answer to "do you have any water" is so obvious, but it's how I ask 90% of the time. I almost always have a water bottle on hand. It's a lot less awkward to ask for a refill from the sink than to ask them to dirty any dishes they weren't planning on. 33 plus 77 doesn't equal 100. Obviously. It's 1010. Could be 3377 if we are talking string data. Taking a mental health day from work. If I'm not puking in bed with the energy of a dying sloth, I feel like shit taking a day off when my depression gets too bad. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If the job doesn't pay them out and the days don't accumulate, use them all. Use every single sick day, personal day, vacation day that you have. If you're in a union, go to every BS training they give so you get paid to be somewhere other than your job and get little skills which you can use to either pad your resume or ask for a raise. You're not your job. Have a life outside of it. Walking out of a gas station with nothing after looking at the snacks section for a solid 5 minutes. Not eating everything my grandma offers me when she comes over. No, this is sacrilege. Existing next to a police officer. Being a virgin at the age of 18, completely normal and fine. Even at age 27. It's perfectly fine. I lost it at 21 and I can honestly say that, now at 35, it makes no difference whatsoever. Masturbation. Funny that people upvote but they don't dare comment. Putting myself first. I find it so hard to do. Declining an invitation to hang out with people over and over again when you're busy or not in the mood. Trying to guilt trip people into having fun is a really bad idea. Yeah, but it also feels bad to be rejected over and over, so if you do this you should expect people to stop inviting you to things. Hot gluing 2 hot glue sticks together. Great. Please stop your shenanigans before you rip a hole in the fabric of space-time. That's hot. Going to a clothes store wearing something I've bought from there before. To add to this, walking in a store to return something not in a bag from that store. I always feel like they are going to think I just went and grabbed something off the shelf. When you're on the bus, someone gets on and your stop is the next stop, so you hit the button to signal the driver. I always feel like the new traveler's going to think that I'm only getting off the bus because they got on. I always feel awkward hitting the button at all. Like, that I'm always doing it too early, and if I just wait, someone else will. Or it's like, everyone will think of course the bus will stop, this is a major location. Look at the asshole who thinks he's so important that he needs to tell the driver to stop where thousands of people get on and off every day. Leaving work after 8 hours on the clock every day, because they're only paying me for 40 hours a week, even when there's more work to do. Oh, it feels so right. If bossman can't afford to pay for overtime, he can't afford to be busy. Or if you're exempt, just going home early if you don't have work to do. The term people of color. To me, it seems no better than colored people, but it does get used in everyday language often and minorities don't generally seem to disapprove of it too much. I live far east where white people aren't common, so this doesn't bother me much. But I always thought the term is funny since white people are the ones that turn red in the sun, brown with a tan, or some weird kind of pale pink when they're sick. My people are brown 24/7. Saying anything even remotely positive about yourself. Using metric system in America. Metric system is fine here. For example, Americans use 9 millimeters all the time. I have an American friend, and when I want to tell him something that needs to use a system of measures, I feel really weird using the metric system. I'm Russian and I try to remember miles and inches, but I always forget this system. Renting a 28 U-Haul truck. How am I qualified to drive this thing? Unless you've got a CDL you're not, but they'll let you do it anyway because freedom. Declining a meeting invitation. Not answering work emails outside of office hours. Not working past 5 p.m. So many to do with US business culture. It's poisonous, really. Going into the hospital empty-handed and leaving with an entire human. Like, yeah, it's your baby, but it still feels a lot like kidnapping. It is if you don't bring a pregnant woman in with you. Doing nothing for a year. I've learned more from this year of aimless carelessness than I did in 3 years of university. I call that giving your life some space to breathe. Asking your partner to stop in the middle of sex or foreplay because you can't get into it. Setting healthy boundaries with family and friends can sometimes feel wrong, guilt, abandonment, etc. In truth, it's perfectly healthy and reasonable to set boundaries in various aspects of your life, particularly in regards to toxic people you encounter or have to encounter. The fact that there's a Greenland shark older than America still chilling somewhere in the North Atlantic Ocean. Premarital sex. 10/10 would recommend. It's so fucked up how this is such a taboo. My parents chastised me for it, but I know for a fact they were having premarital sex. Here's to raising our kids with a healthy understanding of sex. Cutting ties with family members. When a coach pats you on the behind and says good play like bruh you just touched my ass. Cup his balls and say good coaching. Asking for time off at work, I always seem to feel like I'm doing something wrong when I ask. Performing Heimlich maneuver. Especially when the person isn't choking. Always send people to the ER after they receive the Heimlich maneuver. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.